Mr. Chief Justice, I send a question to the desk.
Thank you. The question from Senator Baldwin is addressed to the House managers. Given that the White House counsel could not answer Senator Romney's question that asked for the exact date the President first ordered the hold on security assistance to Ukraine, what witness or witnesses could answer Senator Romney's question?
Thank you, Chief Justice. Thank you, Senator, for the question. You're right. They were not able to directly answer that question. And we believe that there is a tremendous amount of material out there in the form of emails, text messages, conversation, and witness testimony that could shed additional light on that, including an email from last summer between Mr. Bolton, Mr. Blair, where we know from witness testimony this issue was discussed. What we do know is from multiple witnesses, Ukrainian officials knew that President Trump had placed a hold on security assistance soon after it was ordered in July of 2019. So we know that not only did U.S. officials know about it and OMB communicate about it, but the Ukrainians knew about it as well. We know from former Deputy Foreign Minister of Ukraine, Elena Zirkle, she stated publicly, in fact, that the Ukrainian officials knew about it and had found out about it in July. We also know from the testimony of Laura Cooper that her staff received 2 emails from the State Department on July 25th, revealing that the Ukrainian embassy was, quote, asking about security assistance, end quote. And that, quote, the Hill knows about the FMF situation to an extent, and so does the Ukrainian embassy, end quote. And that was on July 25th, the same day as President Trump's call with President Zelensky. What we also know is that career diplomat Catherine Croft stated that, quote, she was very surprised at the effectiveness of my Ukrainian counterparts' diplomatic tradecraft, as in to say they found out very early on or much earlier than I expected them to, end quote. We also know that Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vidman testified that by mid-August he was getting questions from Ukrainians about the status of security assistance. So there is a lot of evidence surrounding it. The administration continues to obstruct wholly our efforts to get the emails and correspondence that we have asked for. That obviously can be remedied by this body with the appropriate subpoenas, namely a subpoena to Ambassador Bolton to testify, and a subpoena to the State Department and Department of State and Department of Defense and others to actually provide that material. Last thing I'd like to say is last evening, Counsel for the President was asked the question about why did the hold for Ukraine differ from holds in the Northern Triangle and other holds like Afghanistan. He provided an explanation that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around because he seems to be the only person in the administration that actually has an explanation. And as far as I could tell, the explanation was somewhere along the lines of one was public and trying to put public pressure on the countries in question, and one was not, was a private conversation and a private effort to put pressure. If that were true, then of course there would be plenty of evidence, plenty of emails, text messages, and other correspondence within the entire interagency process that we know is robust that would illustrate that to be the case. But they have failed to provide any evidence to corroborate that. And let me finish with this. I happen to know that a lot of people in this chamber, a lot of people in the chamber on the other side of the Capitol, including me, have often described much consternation about red tape and bureaucracy and layers of government that run too slow. And I sometimes share that concern, right? That sometimes it takes a long time. There are memos for everything, emails for everything. There's paper trails for everything in this town. I think that is true with respect to this issue. And it is time that we actually see that information so we can get to the bottom of what actually happened. This body could get that information.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.